very lucky that we'll be joined by former Ambassador Dr. Jamil Khan as well. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
Very good morning, and thank you for having me. Glad to be with you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your time. Sir, can you please share, what Pakistan has been communicating with their OIC members and how will it reflect back on the regional peace or the preparedness that Pakistan have, unfortunately, if India thinks of any misadventure?
Well, Pakistan has made it very clear at all levels. In fact, we have our engagements at the multi-layered level. You are quoting about our Pakistan representative, Mr. Asim Iftikhar, who had engagement with Secretary General of the United Nations and as well as the OIC members there. And there was one thing which we have already been telling it to the entire world, that we have a resolve to maintain peace and stability. But obviously, as you said in your intro, if there is any threat to our sovereignty and the territorial integrity, then in that case, the United Nations Charter, it gives us full authority to respond in a befitting manner. We know that war is not a kind of option, preferred option, but if it is imposed upon, then that becomes a national responsibility to retaliate and respond in a calibrated, calculated manner, because we understand that we are two nuclear power neighbors, and we understand that the people of these countries, they deserve, Indian people, poor people, they deserve a better life. And if India wants to reach to a double-digit progress, the only way is to have a proper and right approach towards their neighbors. And if they don't have the right approach, then obviously neighbors are not obliged to really remain under their influence unnecessarily, and particularly Pakistan. So coming back on that, I've given you the example of a permanent representative, but the voices from their own community in India, Mr. Sitapal, who is the ex-governor of Kashmir, it says Modi to be made accountable, because that's their own security lapse. And they're just trying to elect Pakistan. Pakistan Prime Minister, Pakistan ministers have very clearly mentioned it to the entire world and given the offer. And obviously, Rubio, once he was speaking with the Prime Minister, I can very safely imagine that Prime Minister has given that example, that we are absolutely open for a very transparent and independent investigation. What else India wants? It's very logical, very plausible. The world is quite convinced on that, and that's why you do not find any kind of allegation, support to the allegation which India wanted to make. Even in the Security Council, India couldn't get the support. India wanted that Pakistan's name should figure out in the Security Council statement, and the linkage of the incident of Pahalgam that was attributed by the Indians, and they tried their best that it should be also mentioned in the Security Council statement, but that didn't happen. That means the better sense prevails, and we fully understand that even in 2019, we had given very befitting response, and we showed that what capability we have, both the ground forces and the air force and the naval forces, and we have demonstrated it. We don't have to really prove it any further, and we have told them that this is our red line. If you do any misadventure, we'll respond to it. And then one very long outstanding issue, that is Indus Water Treaty. We are very clear through our National Security Committee that that's our existential threat, and that would amount to declaration of war. The world is really considering it very seriously, and world is focusing on it. And in my understanding, this was extra legal. There's no mention in the Indus Water Treaty about the not suspension of the held in abeyance, keeping this Indus Water Treaty. And I am sure that has to be India has to retract from there.
Dr. Khan, very sorry to interject. And what was the response that we have gotten from our OIC members? How did they respond to how Pakistan wants peace within the South Asian region, how we want to de-escalate this friction, how we do know for a fact China, Turkey, Azerbaijan, all the neighboring countries are backing Pakistan, even within Europe. Even the US State Department has spoken how they have instructed Pakistan and India to de-escalate the situation. What was the response of the OIC member countries?
The reflection of the response, you can see it from the entire Gulf country, that they want that the situation should be de-escalate, and they have spoken with India also, and that is the. But if you would ask me about the legal steps, what is to be taken from the OIC platform should, as a matter of fact, call for the extraordinary meeting of the head of the states, or if not head of the states, then at least the foreign ministers, and they should deliberate this point. They should pass a resolution. They should ask General Assembly that they should resolve this matter. They should take cognizance of it. They should all ask Security Council, but our OIC, we have to admit, is not as prudent, is not that effective, and therefore they would not go for that proceedings which is enunciated in their own charter, and I'm referring to article number 8 of the OIC charter and article number 9, which warrants that in such situation any member which is under threat by any other external force, they have to call for the meeting. So I would expect and desire that they should call for a meeting and they should pass a resolution, if nothing else. I was also focusing on a statement the preceding night by the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, and he also says the response does not I hope the response does not lead to the regional conflict, and that's what the entire world is worried, and that's why their Secretary of State, Foreign Minister was also worried, and that's why you see that those 36 hours which we had a very credible information with our government and with our government's spokesperson, which is the Information Minister, who had really informed the entire world that this is what India is trying to do. And I guess that's because of that there was some pressure, and the Indian had to really retract from there. And as I said, there is from within India, Mr. Sitapal, I have already given you the example, the BBC interview of the ex-RAW chief, Amirjeet Singh. He says that failure of India, in Belgaum, and they are blaming India itself, instead they are just trying to throw that blame. What is happening as a matter of fact, and this last and second point which I like to illustrate, what's happening as a matter of fact, India, the BJP government, propelled by the RSS theology and ideology, they are utilizing national security of India for the political propaganda. That's the whole crux of the thing, and that's why even the secular people in India, which are about 70 to 80% Indians, they are quite worried that where Modi, the government is going to lead to the country. And if the conflict goes, to the level of the war, India has to spend almost about $700 million per day, and that would be from the welfare of the people of India, the poor people of India. That is not a joke, and Pakistan obviously would also have to give the matching response, even if we have to spend some money. We know that the war is not a preferred option, but as I said, that if it is imposed upon us, we will respond to it.
Wonderful.
Yes, thank you so much for enlightening us with these facts. I would like to dive into the fact that how India has been defying the UN resolutions regarding the Kashmir issue for such a long time, and it is high time that the international community realizes that the root cause of this conflict is not cross-border incidents like these, but it is because the Kashmir issue has been left unresolved under international law. So what do you have to say regarding this?
Well, this very incident, which India started themselves, this propaganda and this allegation, which they've been doing it in 2016, they did it in 2018, they did it once there was a high-power visit from the United States in 2020, once Blinken was visiting and so on. Every time they would try and do some false flag. But this time around, what has happened is the entire world has become cognizant of it as to what is the root cause. And the root cause, as you said, is the Kashmir problem. And Kashmir problem, unless the Indian occupied Kashmir and the whole Kashmir, unless that problem is not resolved in accordance with the resolutions, there are about 7 resolutions, starting from resolution number 47, unless they resolve this issue, this problem would keep triggering off, and the world, the region would continue to be alarmed of the 2 nuclear neighbors who have this very important and significant, long outstanding dispute, which is the dispute of the agenda of Security Council. So therefore, this matter has to be resolved, and it has come to the limelight once again, and I believe that they will start focusing on it, and particularly the United States.
And exactly, I think that's where we need to take advantage as well. But thank you so much, Dr. Khan, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you and for everybody who's out there. And I think that's one thing that, I look at, as a very positive, which has actually emerged out of the entire situation. From 2019, where the abrogation of the Article 370, and there was another article, I think it was